Thank you all so very much for joining us again. Join us for a deep dive into Gen V Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4, as we break down the key moments, character clashes, and plot twists, including the intense Marie versus Jordan showdown. We analyze how these episodes expand the series' darker themes and set the stage for what's next. Perfect for fans wanting a thorough recap or new viewers catching up. Plus, we've got engaging panel questions inspired by the latest episode, so stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe for more Gen V analysis and episode breakdowns. Hell yeah! You've got it first. Break down today's title, H is for Human and Bags.
All right, so H is for Human. Cypher, our new character who showed up in season 2. What is his powers, if any? So everybody's trying to figure out if Cypher is indeed human. And Bags, as he has his new protege, Marie Moreau, he is using her to move the blood without her hands and the whole thing. So you have this kind of Yoda thing going on. They kind of play on that. So is everybody basically just a blood bag? And so that was interesting to see kind of how that dynamic played out. So yes, Bags and human.
Okay, all right. So let's get into it. So how do the interpersonal dynamics between Marie and Jordan mirror real-world conflicts or ethical dilemmas? Let's start with Bearer of Men.
Ask the question again.
Sure. How do the interpersonal dynamics between Marie and Jordan mirror real-world conflicts or ethical dilemmas?
Real world conflicts, as in their relationship in general.
Well,
I think it does mirror
their relationship
for certain.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said I feel like it definitely mirrors real world dilemmas for certain, because there's just a lot going on with the younger generation exploring their sexuality and seeing it play out with, like, I guess mutants is interesting.
Okay. Chad?
Yeah, you had the obvious stuff with Jordan being what they are, but earlier in this episode, it still kind of carries over from the last episode where Jordan is being real dude-ish about the whole "I love you" thing and like trying to avoid addressing that at all costs, which is a very young dude kind of thing to go through. And like the last episode when they did it, it was when Jordan was, I believe Jordan was in her dude form. And this one, which I at least I was amused by, because it was like, of course she's gonna be, the sketchy dude as a sketchy dude. But it carried over. I think in the beginning of this episode, they were as girl Jordan. So just just the visual look of that, being that this is activity that we would normally associate with a dude. We got it from a dude last time, but it's just showing you who Jordan is in that state. But as the episode went, it's just that it's the early kind of kid thing of, I don't know how to express my feelings and all that kind of stuff. But they just can play with the dynamics because you have a person that is literally transgender and can flip on a dime and the visual of seeing which one is talking to Marie at that time and how you want to get into that.
Oh yeah,
not transgender, bigender.
That's right. That's right.
Like Jordan threw out there real quick. Transtastic. Like, I'm just trying to make that.
He was gonna go by non-binary, honestly.
I thought that was ridiculous. So, to me, relationships in general are just messy. So when you throw in the whole bi-gender dynamic, you have these superhuman people who are still honestly just children. You marry all that in, you get a nice clusterfuck of mess simply because we can't just function as normal children. We still have this duty, this responsibility, and so we're trying to work together to bring down the establishment. But I'm a virgin. Well, no, I'm not anymore. We're dealing with that, and so now I'm basically dating two different people, but still the same douchebag all at the same time. So it's a lot going on. So you have the ethical or unethical ramifications simply because we have a larger vision at hand, and so we're supposed to be on the same side, but we bump. So that's messy. It's just messy. It's real messy, but I'm here for it. I like it. I like to watch it.
I like the fact that the computer automatically just like dipped you out so we couldn't hear you say Bear man.
How she didn't tell that man that them stars with stars upon stars, whatever. Dr. Seuss can only handle this. But what I'm saying is, why you ain't tell them you's a virgin?
Well, kind of, sort of. I did a few things, so technically.
I mean, you kind of had timing intact. You know what I'm saying? And that was whenever I saw that part, I said, "Oh, that's why you loosey goosey."
Everything is intense.
Is what? You waited all that time and then wanted to do it then?
Then you get the best of both worlds. That's too much for a young girl. You don't need all of that. There's too many things happening. I mean,
handle all that.
Unethical.
Right there.
And you said it's unethical.
You said it's unethical. Unethical. It was unethical not to tell him. Yeah. Shim, whatever the fuck.
It's the price of experimentation.
You should have told him.
You should have said something there.
Should have said something. Everybody don't want your flowers. Some people will give it back.
Erica, your masculine energy is showing, Erica. You gotta tell somebody. You gotta tell somebody this. You can't just be out here.
Flower. They be like, that's too much for me.
I ain't trying to pollinate it.
You come holler at us when you had you a few, you know what I'm saying? We can definitely turn you out.
On that horse, you better ride it.
And apparently, she did. You just did it once. And you
I love it.
All them differences. That's why you in love.
Chad, what role does the series' darker, more mature tone play in shaping viewer perceptions of heroism and villainy?
Like the darker tone of the show with heroism. Well, I mean, in this show, they kind of blur the lines of heroes. So, I mean, our set of heroes right now, like one of the first things we see them do this season is bash a girl's brains in. Granted, they got issues with her, to say the least, but they bashed the brains in. It's not like they don't know her, and they were like, "Peace out. We just gonna go ahead on dip around the corner." So
that was an accident.
It was an accident. It was an accident, but they could have accidentally put her brain matter back in the skull before they left. But they were like, "Nah, we just out of here. We just out of here."
The snake right there.
Oh, look, I don't blame them. I understand because while she been out here living this life, while they've been locked up in this brick wall for like however long they were there, I get it. But
brains wouldn't have been bashed in had you not tried to touch a real sister or brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can put the phalanges to yourself. So.
See, again, this is why the whole blurry line stuff. Normally, it's like they give it to you more cut and dry. Like, these are the good guys, but our good guys have done some stuff, and will continue to do stuff. So that's they play with it like that because these are clearly our heroes. But I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if there are more people that end up dying at their hands as this whole thing goes along. And then like I think is it at the end of this episode where Jordan makes the big proclamation about, you know, that we actually did bash the brains in and all that stuff, which I know we'll talk about it more later, but which was real stupid, just completely stupid. But again, we have these very, very flawed heroes because yes, they're put in a bad situation by framing humans for doing this, but it's like, what good does saying this right now do any of y'all? It's only gonna make things worse, which it does, and that's because y'all are, at the end of the day, we dealing with kids. They just stupid. So,
well, both Elia and Bearer of Men reacted when you said that. What are your thoughts?
They just remind me of how I thought I was grown when I was 20-something. And you know how that saying goes, I remember when I had my first drink. Like, that's what it makes me think, damn, dummy. What you getting up here? Just they done already covered it up, and you think they finna go down for this? They finna flip it. They finna flip it. They finna flip it. Like, what are you talking about? Ain't nobody worried about your little conscience. Get your ass on.
Those blurred lines.
Girl really works. Don't nobody care about your little conscience if you don't get in line to shut up.
Hell yeah.
Now get to the back. Get your ass to the back. Be quiet. Oh, so that's the blurred lines, because ideally you would think, hey, honesty is the best policy. Those are the things that we are raised to believe that are true, not a whole bunch of hogwash. It depends on whatever the situation is, whatever perspective is the loudest. That's what we need to go with. And so,
I said, whomever's controlling the narrative.
Exactly.
Right.
And so you decided to get up there and grandstand at the wrong time again, showing that immaturity. You could have kept that to yourself, and now you started a whole war. So, yeah.
Okay.
Echoing what Ken and Bearer of Men had to say.
Okay, I want to switch gears real quick. Elia, which character development moments stood out most, and what do they tell us about future conflicts?
For me, I'm just gonna always be a huge fan of Emma. I think she really stands out quite a bit. Big or small. All pun intended. She's just been kind of going through it. So just kind of seeing her trying to figure out who she is, how she fits into things. But at the same time, she's a very clutch, and key character to things, because she kind of pulls things together. She comes off sometimes like a B character, but not really. And so seeing her develop and work with, what's his name? Help me out. The father.
Yeah.
Dang.
Why can't I think of his soup name even right now?
I cannot.
Well, him. We know who you're talking about.
Yes. Polarity. Thank you. Yes. Seeing her even be brave enough to even address that, I love that. And potentially that may even kind of be on brand for her. But still, just watching her continue to just grow and develop and kind of pull things together for the greater good of the group, and not being just so self-centered, and stuck on whatever's going on with her and Sam, to where she can't, do things for the greater good of the group. So I love watching her character develop.
Bearer of Men, characters that stood out, and what do they tell us about future conflicts?
I'm interested in seeing how this guy who see these Muppets turns out. He nutty as hell, ain't he? Everywhere he go, he see goddamn. He see the Muppet shit. He is crazy as a mother. And then he's sitting around talking to what's the bi gender person name?
Oh, Jordan.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm like, so then, that's what gave him the courage to go out there act a damn fool in the first place. So I'm interested to see if he turns into a good guy instead of a henchman.
Okay. All right. Chad?
I will go ahead and take Marie on this one because we had the whole deal with her going and meeting with the family friend and all the conflicts of emotion she had with that. Like when she rang the doorbell and the lady told her, "Don't call her Aunt Pam," and seeing how she reacted to that, and just the like when they get into it towards the end of that scene, and Marie's basically telling her, like, I just had my period and this all happened. I didn't mean to do anything. I didn't do this. My parents actually signed up for this. Like, that's not. She's grown from what we saw her, like, in the first season. And I don't think she would have like straight up confronted her quite like that in the first season to now. And she's getting more of that kind of confidence doing these things, finding out about her past, and working with Cypher, who we don't know jack shit about. So seeing that kind of development from her, particularly from what we saw her starting the show to now, and some of the stuff Cypher does with her, you kind of got to wonder, is her confidence going to go in the right way when she needs it?
Bearer of Men, how has the tone of Gen V evolved over these episodes compared to the first season?
When you say evolve, what do you mean?
How has it changed?
I think everybody is going into the social media world kind of better than before.
Expound. What do you mean?
Like they're like, as much as we see them trying to push back and be vigilant and like stand true to who they are, they're still getting sucked into the politics of like learning that a part of being a hero and being like a part of this dream that they always wanted to be a part about was commercialized. And it seems to really take a toll on them because they don't want to do it. And it's inauthentic. And it really kind of speaks to the times we live in because it is inauthentic, a lot of it. Like, I know I personally struggle with wanting to have more of an online presence, but like, what do you like? Is there room for you to really be yourself for real without criticism, but you can't take it, like you can't have the good without the bad. And I think they kind of show all that because the media turns on you quickly.
Elliot?
So we have the obvious thing with these people having all of this power, but still being very weak. And so, doubling down on that this season is what I'm seeing. The powers are evolving, but you still are very, very vulnerable, very weak. In addition to being a child, you're not quite human. So you don't really fit into that box. And you have these superpowers, but you're still being controlled and puppeted. And so it's just having that continual display of you are not all of yourself. And so I feel like they kind of dialed that up quite a bit in this season for me.
Chad?
The only thing I'll add is just stylistically, I don't think there's as many. They pick their spots with the like outlandish stuff because the puppets show back up this episode, but it's only real quick, just to remind you that this some bitch is crazy and he does deal with puppets. But it was only real quick. We have against stuff like the keg up the ass and all that kind of stuff, but it's only been real quick. Whereas last season, I felt like there was just a lot of it all the time, just because they could do it. So I think they're pacing it out just because they want to spread it out and make it feel like a more even show, or we're gonna get something really, really. I wasn't going. See, you did that now. I got to say the booty hole monster again. I left that one alone, but you brought it up. You did that. But either everything's gonna be evened out, or like we're gonna get something real stupid in some of these later episodes that's just gonna be real big and over the top and outlandish just because they can.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was about to say them having a man resting or doing whatever it is he was doing in another man's ass.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Because I know the motherfuckers. I know people want to be in it, but he was in it, and I was like, that's wild.
I completely forgot about that.
Whole body in it. I mean, like, how much do you want to be stretched out? I just don't know.
Coyote, stand up in it. It's the whole body.
It's like boundaries, you know. It's kind of there should be boundaries to this.
Yeah. All or nothing.
Oh yeah, what potential alliances or rivalries do these episodes set up for the rest of the season?
So alliances, polarity, basically working with Emma, that alliance, because it kind of keeps, we kind of talked about this, I think, last recording, it keeps the memory of Andre going. In addition to the duality of trying to take down Vought or whomever. And so that's a really good alliance that I like, as well as this kind of swinging pendulum of them hating Kate, that whole thing. But then we kind of still need you. So it's just kind of like, fuck you, but it's like, not really. You know, we're going to figure this out. So, yeah, I think they're going to get it together. Kate is a key piece to the puzzle, or at least I thought.
Bearer of Men, alliances or rivalries?
Rivalries. I'm interested in seeing how Cypher's going to take this to the next level, and what he's really, what his darkness really holds. And I'm wondering completely if, like, Marie is gonna. It's Marie, right? If Marie is going to become a part of his shenanigans, and they become allies somehow, because I feel like there's a darkness in her that she just doesn't know about yet. Like all that good got some bad on the other side of the coin. Everybody does.
Mhm.
And that's the part that's gonna make her and make all of them human. But I just feel like Cypher is gonna pull her in. So that alliance, and then like what kind of rivalry it's gonna cause between all the rest of the characters. Because I feel like she's impressionable. She just doesn't know it.
Chad?
It's gonna be the whole group and Kate for me, because like you've blown off her hand, you busted her head open, but yet still we got to do all this stuff together. So they're mildly getting along by the time we end these two episodes, but I mean something else is gonna happen. So it's gonna swing back again. I'm sure, at least with some of them. So it's how to do all of them fall out with Kate again? Do some of them get back in good with her and are going to be on her side? Or like what combination we're going to have for that? Because there's going to be something that goes up with that.
Chad, you have the next question. And the reason I want to pose this question to you is because I know that you love the boys. So on this panel, you're like our resident expert. All right. So, but it's boys and Gen V. All right. So are there any subtle clues or Easter eggs in episodes 3 and 4 that hint at major reveals or character backstories?
I know there are, but I'm trying to remember everything that happened, because they both of these kind of blend in with me. But I'm trying to remember who did we see? Did we see the Deep in this episode, or was that in the ones before?
I think it was in episodes 1 or 2.
Okay.
I thought we saw him in the frat house, and we saw Starlight.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, so that was in like the second episode. Okay. There's nothing that. Okay, from these two episodes, there's nothing that jumps out that explicitly like is saying this is going to be where we're leading, especially towards the boys. Outside of the whole Odessa subplot as it is. I mean, because that could just stick to Gen V, but you would think since Starlight introduces it's going to merge over to to the boys. But outside of that big one, I haven't really seen it. I know there'll probably be some more stuff here and there as we get towards the end, because I just can't see them not building to something jumping over from this season to the boys, and then continue to build up for whatever comes for Gen V season 3.
Okay. Oh yeah. Were you able to figure out anything?
Again, echoing what Chad said about Starlight, and just kind of her working with the Gen Vers, to move the plot along. That's the only thing that I can kind of decipher, because I didn't finish the boys, and so obviously, we know that Starlight is one of the quote unquote good guys, and so kind of seeing how she's going to work with the Gen Vers to move things along.
Bear of Men.
Ditto. I can only see the Starlight. I don't know. I don't think the Deep is about to be on anything, or I don't think he's like a segue. Although it does seem like he's been around a while. You know, like, and why is there a whole frat that's dedicated to him? That I want to know.
Okay. All right. So how do the events in these episodes challenge or reinforce your expectations of character morality? We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but how do they challenge or reinforce your expectations of character morality? Let's start with Elia.
So it challenges the morality, because, again, you think, hey, you can be upset with somebody, real upset, but here are the things we don't do. And, letting somebody bleed out is probably at the top of the list. And so it challenges the morality, because, in essence, okay, we're frenemies, but we don't watch people just bleed out. We want to help them. And so just kind of watching that whole thing play out to where Marie wants to help, and then everybody's like, no, she good. Let's just leave her. So that kind of challenges the morality, but at the same time, I'm gonna straddle the fence just a bit here. It's kind of on brand for this show for me. Like, anybody can get it. And so
Bear of Men.
As far as morality goes, like the aunt Lion, having taken care of that daughter, and then just having completely abandoned a young girl who got her period, who didn't ask to be born, calling the other daughter the real miracle. And I wouldn't even be surprised if the other daughter is affected too, and somehow they've kept them apart, trying to make it seem like, because how? Yeah, you don't think that stuff was still in her body, whatever compound that was made that allowed her to get pregnant in the first place. You don't think it still was just around lingering? Didn't the daughter look just like her sister? Like both, and weren't both the parents brown skin?
Yeah.
Like, if you got the right people casting, that ain't the pappy, but okay. Can we get some authenticity? I know we hops around. I know Black people, you can rattle us up and you can get anything when you roll it, but listen. We reaching that far back and finding some curly haired churn with 2 chocolate parents, okay? So I just always wondered, is this gonna be something? Because their babies don't look nothing like their man. He's still out. And I'm talking about both of them. So I'm just saying, if I remember it right.
You remember it right. Chad.
For me, it's gonna be the again, I'm going back to the whole Kate stuff, because it because of the way it swings, it's like, we're good with using her to advance our cause that we think is like a righteous cause, but we are clearly like using her and putting her in danger and not really caring. Like when they had her sneak into Cypher's house, which since nobody brought it up, I mean she did make that dude fucking garden gnome.
That gnome got the business.
I just want to know how we still feeling bad for Kate.
Oh,
How?
I don't think you should.
Yeah, more than just going off. You've been lying and taking people memories all this time, girl. You lucky that's all you got. You lucky you got a rubber hand.
I don't know if I feel bad for Kate per se. I don't know if I go that far.
Yeah.
I don't know if I go that far, but I do understand that in essence, Kate is a victim as well by these adults that's doing this to these children, and they have literally been using her. You know, she's still a kid, and so I don't know if I feel bad for her, but I do understand.
Yeah, but I think that's why they have her getting her head blown off in the first episode. It's like
you're gonna have to pay.
So it makes you feel like it makes them feel like they've got some measure of revenge. However, the way they leave her there, it gives us a sense of, okay, we can have a little bit of sympathy towards her, and I think you got to have a little bit to make some of the rest of the stuff go along. But also that probably means she might do some more jacked up shit towards the end because they got you back in.
Why she lucky she got hands? That's all I'm saying. You have to find out what I got going on, or you touching me with her nose. You better learn how.
Well, okay, so Cypher told Marie, you don't have to put your hands down, right? Mm. So then can we not assume that Kate doesn't have to touch anybody to make them do what she wants them to do?
Maybe if she would reach for me again, she better figure it out. She wasn't her damn hand blown off. She had two jellies just walking around wiggling.
But yes, I agree.
You be walking around like this next time you reach the.
If you could suggest a storyline or character arc to focus on in the next episodes, what would it be? And I really want to go with Elia because she's a resident writer. Storylines or character arcs that you can focus on.
There would be a little bit more Bear Man. The writer.
Oh,
I got more of a bubble than she does. I stick strictly to poetry, not narratives. Except my own. But if I had to pick one to focus on, honestly, it would be Cypher. It would be Cypher. I am so eager to know more simply because, all right, so me being me, loving words, and I screenshotted and sent it to you. I'm like, okay, the whole meaning of Cypher just means having no value, no weight, no worth, nothing. That's one of the definitions. And then the other one, obviously, being the opposite of decipher, is being coded in such a way that no one can determine the meaning on purpose, to conceal. And so that makes me even more excited about the name and going down the rabbit hole of this character to know, who is this man? Where did he come from? What is his purpose? What does he want? Like, what is his overall mission? Like, what is it with him and Homelander? I just have so many questions. I want to know more of his backstory. Why are we keeping our father in a bariatric chamber? Or, what is going on there? So if I had to do that, it would definitely be Cypher. And he's kind of crazy, which makes him really attractive to me in a weird way. Like, I like watching Cypher. He is a psychopath, and I'm here for it. I like it.
Yeah, but could you have sex with him?
Yes. It would be so raunchy.
So you have a requirement. Your requirement is it's got to be at least 7 inches.
Now
But
make
listen,
Cypher come swing that big thing out here and pop you in the forehead, Jermaine. You ain't tell me might have 12 for your ass.
or at least he'll make me think he does. Mind control.
That's all anyone ever really needs, just a little bit of that mind control, you know. Talk to me, tell me something.
Barrowman, what you got? A character arc or a story that you could, kind of like delve into?
I want to find out where Marie's sister is.
I love what you said back there earlier about her potentially having some of the compound in her as well. I love that idea. I do.
Yeah,
I even think about that.
I really feel like Cypher's their father. I don't know why. I don't know. Because he looks like he hasn't aged. He changed his name. And then his dad's in a metabolic chamber. Like, what? Is your dad like the original seedling of all this stuff? Did he realize to get his compound to work, he needed something, to start off with to mutate it?
So here's the thing. All right. So Marie was just like, she said, okay, Cypher doesn't have any compound V in him, right?
Yeah,
and
he's seedling, the seeder of all these people.
I think that Cypher's father is Professor Godolkin. Chad, you're shaking your head. What are your thoughts?
Like, I literally just thought that right before you said that, and I was scrolling up just to make sure I was looking at the name Godolkin before I did it, because when she sees the picture, she says that his name is Dr. Gold. So all you're doing is shortening that Godolkin and moving a couple letters around. There you go. You got Dr. Gold. So I think that is a high possibility. Again, only just thinking of this. So I'm glad somebody else saw it at the same time that I did.
It was a dinosaur egg, y'all, not an Easter egg. I like that.
Okay, all right. So let's change gears just a little bit. How do the visual effects and action sequences in these episodes enhance the storytelling, if at all? Anyone?
I don't know if they have. Not in these particular ones.
Consistent.
Yeah, they've been doing a whole bunch of punch kick kind of action scenes, so it's not like a whole bunch of everybody flying around, a whole bunch of lasers and stuff. It's normally like I throw you through a wall, you throw me through a wall. Outside of Marie using her powers. So like that's actually her with the goats is the only thing that stands out, because he's pushing her to use her powers that way, and then she splatters that goat. That's like the most visually the most visual use of powers in the last couple episodes.
I like whenever Dr. Gold or Mr. or Cypher, I like when he used his powers and was puppeteering everybody around him. I was like, oh, was he moving the bags, or was he moving the bags through her when he told her to use her hands? And at the time, was she opening up, being able to control her too?
So that was exactly what I thought, Barrowman. I thought that's what he was doing in that moment. Because you remember, like, when she turned and she looked at his neck, that's what he was doing. He was whispering something, right? And so in the moment, I thought he was just like wishing her well or whatever. It wasn't until we saw a little bit later when he was controlling Jordan that he was making Jordan do those things. So I kind of like went back to that moment. I was just like, oh.
And she didn't know it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
To me, visually, nothing really stood out. simply because I feel like they've been kind of consistent with the effects. Still a lot of gore going on, and so yeah, not anything in particular. No.
Okay. One more question. I definitely want to start with Chad first because Chad loves superheroes. How would you compare the storytelling approach of Gen V to other superhero series or spinoffs?
It is so. The major difference between this and like most of the stuff that's out like now is just the fact that it's one, it's a younger cast. Two, it's set in the world of The Boys, so everything is more. I mean, I guess kind of cynical, and it has something to say that's very overt. Whereas a lot of the other stuff, it might have a message in it, but it's not. It's not trying. That's not what it's trying to get over on you. In the boy shows and like Gen V and stuff, they're telling you, you know, the certain mindset is very bad. It is very bad because people are stupid and don't get subtext, so they just make it blatant. Other than that, I mean, you know, the superhero-ish kind of stuff, it's the same, just bloodier, and even for bloody shows, this goes for more, I guess, kind of gross out kind of stuff. Sometimes booty hole monster, you know, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, the easiest way to say this is like this is for like mature people that actually can see this and understand what it's trying to tell you, as opposed to some other stuff that you can just sit and just kind of sit back and be fine with it.
Hell yeah.
I'm a fairy tale girl, and so you know, if you the Grimm's tales, if you look at those, it's kind of dark. And so to me, it's on brand. Like, you know, there's some dark components. This is dialed up so much. So I do appreciate that, and like Chad mentioned, and which I will continue to mention, this is so gory. Crass. So things you wouldn't ordinarily see, like, you know, the booty hole monsters or stingers sticking out of people's backsides, and you know, and so I do I do think it's just dialed up. I'm not used to seeing things like that when we're talking about superheroes. So it's really just, for lack of better words, kind of nasty. But I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
Wait, real quick, since you brought up the stinger, so she got to use it, and then everybody got to die. Like she said, if she uses it, she dies. If she stings the person, they're gonna die. So she's just got it, and it just been swinging around there. It's got to get used.
Yes.
It's probably going to be pretty nasty whenever this does happen.
You just got it out there on display. Like, let's see.
I mean, and they keep. I mean, it looks weird, so I see why they focus on it, but they focus on it too much for them not to use it.
It is dripping.
It's like you kind of want it. Like,
You just start wondering, is it sweet? But then taking out at it, it's like it couldn't.
It's impossible.
I want to know when you take a shit, where does it go? What is it?
Turn sideways.
And then
How do you want?
they got her ass up a PR. Go sit down, please.
Bearer of men. What story? How would you compare?
It is nasty. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even watch it with my kids walking around because I just know what's gonna happen, and I'm just not in the mood to have the conversation about what the hell going on. And I get that they're dialing up. Now this would probably really be like, what is so? But do you guys notice it might not just even be this show, but it's so much sex on TV. Like, I know they're trying to normalize it, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm just wondering, was I always approved? I just don't feel like people with sex and making eggs like that. I was making eggs like that all the time. What was y'all ever learning? Like the whole time they ain't learning shit. But I guess it's more realistic. So it is dark. I like that it's dark, but then it's satirical, and I get confused sometimes because it's just so much sex. A lot. It's a lot of sex, and as I heard about it, I'm like, it's what they talk. This is what you got in trouble for. This smut, just smut.
Yes. But you wrote about it, so it, you still had to some degree single disgusting thing that you can think of being displayed in front of your eyes. That's different.
Yeah, there's just a lot of it. It's like a lot to take in to get through the story sometimes, but I don't mind because I'm optically it's a lot.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Final question. Mayfair to 10. How would you rate this episode?
Quite honestly, for me, this episode is probably around an 8. Between the two, probably around an 8. It was enjoyable. Not the best thing I've ever seen to receive a 10, but but yes, I got my attention.
I don't know if I'm supposed to for that, but I would just say 8. I enjoyed them, and I'm just gonna get out of this. That we should have ended on that one.
Very.
I'm gonna give it a good 7.5. I can't give it an 8. I had to keep pausing it. It didn't keep my attention the whole time. And I don't know, just I'm being affected by social media too, and my attention span is leaving me. But we are heavily dialed in on this show into current issues when it comes to like how these kids feel about relationships and the gender stuff and sexuality and morality. It's a lot. So I'd say it's 7.5 because sometimes I don't think it's seamless.
Okay. All right. For me, I would give it a 7, and I'll tell you why. I enjoyed the 2 episodes. I did. I'm not gonna lie about that. I didn't enjoy the 2 episodes. But I kind of go back to what I said the last time. They were given so much, and I didn't know which storylines to pay more attention to. Because they were just giving me so much. And that was what made it difficult. And to a certain extent, that is exactly what The Boys is. That is exactly what Gen V has always been. They're giving you so much, and all of these different pieces, you got to put all of them together. But that's why, like what Bearer of Men said, kind of resonated with me. It was just like, oh wow, I'm in a sense, I'm kind of like overstimulated to the point where it's like I'm so stimulated, it's like
just can't get there. Huh?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been to that point. Well, I was overstimulated and couldn't get there. But
Period.
all right. Well, was there anything else that you all wanted to talk about that we didn't cover so far? All right. Thank you all. So I'm sorry, Elia.
Pretty much certain we touched everything.
Literally and figuratively. We touched toilet bowls. We touched pussy hair. We touched.
We saw deep aspects. Women.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all so very much for watching us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on all your social media. Until next time, y'all have a good one.